Number 10. Medusa. Medusa is known as being the wife of Black Bolt, or one of the wives, but she's kind of the main one. The one Black Bolt really relies on when it comes to helping him rule the Inhumans. She and Black Bolt are basically the king and queen of the Inhuman city of Attilan. She is able to speak to her husband telepathically, but this is not where her powers lie. Her strength comes from her fighting skills and her trichokinesis powers, which allow her to control her hair and use her hair strands as a weapon. Hair fighting. Medusa's hair is super strong and can also be manipulated as though it were a whip. We've seen her use it like a rope to restrain people, reinforce herself, and to lift other things. Add in the fact that Medusa is quite skilled when it comes to wielding her terrifyingly long and powerful locks, and she can prove to be a mighty enemy in battle. Number 9. STARLORD. STARLORD in the Marvel Cinematic Universe is known for being half Terran or human and half living planet, I guess? We learn in Guardians of the Galaxy 2 that STARLORD, aka Peter Quill, is actually the son of Ego, the living planet. However, in the comics, STARLORD's dad is someone else entirely, although Peter still remains half alien by birth due to his father's identity. In the comics, Peter Quill is the son of Jason of Spartax, a prince of Spartax whose father was the Emperor. At one point, in fact, Peter would end up ruling Spartax after his girlfriend at the time, Kitty Pryde, used her powers enhanced by the Black Vortex to save the planet. Peter grew up not knowing of his true heritage, as Jason had erased his mother's memories of ever meeting his father to spare her the pain of him leaving, not knowing that they had conceived a child together.
You are the father!
But even without knowledge of his heritage, Peter has always been pretty spacey, often known for being the leader of the Guardians of the Galaxy team. Number 8. Noh-Varr. Noh-Varr is also known as Marvel Boy. He is a Kree from the alternate reality of Earth 2000. So many zeros. He is a Kree from the alternate reality of Earth 200080. He was one of the crewmates aboard the Marvel, a ship whose crew was tasked with a peacekeeping mission aiming to maintain a ceasefire between the Kree and Skrull of their reality. After finding their ship was lost in the multiverse, they ended up being shot down and crash landed on Earth 616's Earth. Noh-Varr was the sole survivor of the crash. Originally, Noh-Varr blamed all humans for the death of his crew and his parents, who were also aboard. However, over time, the other heroes were able to convince him to abandon his quest for revenge and join them instead in protecting the planet. Eventually, he would come to be an ally and member of the Young Avengers. He is a hero who is known for his intelligence, especially when it comes to Kree tech, his fighting skills, speed, durability, and strength. He also has been known to use equipment such as Plex, the knowledgeable living database that once belonged to his ship, and his own set of negabands, given to him by the Supreme Intelligence. Number 7. HULKLING. HULKLING has both a Kree and Skrull heritage and background, being the son of Skrull Princess Anel and Kree hero Mar-Vell. He was spirited away when he was young in order to ensure he was protected and hidden on Earth, where he was raised by his foster mother, Mary Jo Altman, from whom he gets his surname. Theodore, or Teddy Altman, grew up to become a shape-shifting hero who was not aware of his true lineage until later in his life. He is not only super strong and durable due to his enhanced physiology, but he also has a healing factor and can shapeshift, even giving himself wings, which then he can use to fly with. Recently in the Empire event, HULKLING was also given the power of Excelsior, an ancestral space sword imbued with cosmic power, which was bestowed upon him when he became the Emperor of the Alliance, Emperor Dorak VIII. Number 6. Carol Danvers. In the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Carol has been established as one of the most powerful heroes that we have. She took a straight up headbutt from Thanos while trying to hold him off while he was wearing the Infinity Gauntlet, and she didn't even really blink during that at all. Craziness. Now in the comics, Carol is not quite as powerful, but she's still proven her strength and toughness time and time again. She's taken on the Hulk, managed to withstand a direct energy blast from Thanos, and even when she struggled to use her powers due to a tumor in her brain, she still fought to use her super strength, managing to lift up an entire subway train without really much effort. And in case you're wondering, that tumor was kind of trying to dampen her powers. In fact, she could have killed herself by using her powers or flying at the time. Carol is also a skilled pilot and tactician, and although she's right-handed, you definitely still wouldn't want her to get you with her left hook. Even though she admits her left arm isn't as strong as her dominant right, she can still hit you so hard you'll fly from planet Earth to space if you manage to survive that hit, and if you can even survive in space, which I can't, so I would be dead. Number 5. Starbrand. Kevin Connor was just a normal human college kid when, during the White event, he received the power of Starbrand. This surge of power caused him to destroy the college that he attended and got him the attention of the Avengers, Nightmask, and Captain Universe. Starbrand would later travel with Nightmask to see his creator Ex Nihilo, who would then help to explain what had happened to Kevin and how best to handle these new powers. With the power of the Starbrand, Kevin received virtually limitless energy-based powers, which increased Kevin's strength and endurance. He was also able to project energy blasts, manipulate energy, and even manipulate matter at a quantum level. Number 4. Ronan. Ronan doesn't just happen to have his Kree physiology. This often Kree hero also has had himself leveled up in terms of his physiology due to cybernetic implants, and he has even had his power levels upped by an interaction with the Black Vortex Mirror, which often unlocks one's potential even after the user has relinquished the powers that were imbued by it. The awesome thing about Ronan is that he's not only super strong, durable, and fast, but he's also quite intelligent. Sure, he hasn't always been a hero, but when he does work with and for the good guys, he is a powerhouse. And even when he's considered more of a villain, he is still often respected by fellow supers, no matter their alignment. Fun fact, while Ronan has actually fought against the Inhumans in the past, he has also for a time allied himself with them, and he even married and was in love with the Inhuman Crystal, who we talked about earlier. I actually really like them together. I think they're cute. Number 3. Smasher. Isabel Kane was originally a normal human living on a farm in Iowa, but one day she came across the exospecs of a Smasher. Smashers are members of the Shi'ar Imperial Guard. They look like humans but are aliens who use exospecs, a set of goggles, to grant themselves powers and enhance their abilities. Izzy would be granted powers like superhuman strength, speed, and durability, as well as the ability to fly, and do so at hyper speed when needed. She would later leave Earth, traveling to the Shi'ar Empire and joining the Imperial Guard. Later on, when she returned to Earth, she would be recruited by Captain America to join the Avengers. Number 2. Thor. That's right, Thor can actually be considered a cosmic hero.
I'm very protective of the humans because they're so helpless and ridiculous.
Well, he can be considered a godly hero too, but it turns out those categories are not always mutually exclusive. In fact, there are many instances where they go hand in hand with characters. Thor himself is from Asgard, but Asgard itself is actually located in outer space. Unlike Earth, it's not round, but more flat. In fact, the 10 realms are believed to be located potentially in alternate dimensions. Asgard, Alfheim, Nidavellir, and Vanaheim are all believed to be part of the same dimension. When wielding Mjolnir, Thor is considered one of the most powerful heroes around. He can use his hammer to destroy mountains, moons, and easily demolish important Earth landmarks and monuments, such as the Great Pyramids and the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Number 1. Silver Surfer. The Silver Surfer is one of the most powerful cosmic beings around. He does his best to be a hero while also often being known for serving his master Galactus as a herald. He's probably one of the most heroic heralds, to be honest. He gets his powers from his master Galactus, who imbued him with the power Cosmic after he agreed to serve him in exchange for Galactus sparing the Silver Surfer's homeworld, which Galactus was about to devour. However, in becoming a herald, Norrin Radd, as he was formerly known, also lost a part of himself, being unable to remember much of his past life before becoming the Silver Surfer. He has used his power in the past both to disrupt all technology and electricity in the world, turning off all of its power, and has also used his power to save the world, preventing it from being destroyed by binding his cosmic soul to the planet's core.
Coming in at number 10, we have the Brood. Being the first predator in the universe is a good way to get you on this list. If you're unfamiliar with the Brood, they are an insect-like race that goes through the universe and literally consumes everything in sight. They are basically a hive mind that are all controlled by the Brood Queen. They are extremely hard to kill and they spread like wildfire. Not only do they suck the universe dry for everything good, they genuinely enjoy the suffering of others. That's very rude of them. The Brood have multiple limbs, tails that have poisonous stingers on them, wings that come out of their back, and an exoskeleton that acts like armor. And it's not so much that one Brood is hard to kill, but it's that, like any insect, once they infest an area they will start to spread, and you have to fight thousands if not millions of them. All of them can communicate telepathically with the Brood Mother, so if you start fighting one of them, then she can send a whole army after you in seconds, and they all know how to work together in a massive hive mind. Coming in at number 9, we have the PHALANX, a race of robot humanoids who have been captured and controlled so they can be used as weapons. Yeah, that doesn't sound like a fun existence, but there is a good reason for it. The reason that they have basically been used as living weapons is because they are really good at what they do. They love to take over worlds. Through their existence, they have taken tech from 100,000 different species, and they have used it to upgrade themselves and make their tech even more powerful. And they've been alive for what they say is 100,000 life cycles, and they've also caused the extinction of 200,000 races. That's one hell of a resume. You want these guys in your back pocket if you ever go to war with anyone across the universe. Their goal is to assimilate the whole universe into PHALANX, and it's thought that they are controlled by a titan who resides in a black hole. They go from planet to suck each one dry for all of its resources and take all of the good tech. With each planet they consume, they become more powerful. Coming in at number 8, we have Ego, the living planet. Being a massive planet that only has one purpose but to consume and provide for himself sounds pretty dangerous. You think that if you were able to be alive for billions of years, you would learn to no longer have an ego. But the fact that you were created in conjunction with another version of yourself, aka alter ego, another living planet who is constantly in competition with Ego, I can understand why you have never lost your need for competition. Ego has the ability to consume life from other planets and is powerful enough to destroy them one by one, much like Galactus. But anything that is handcrafted by the Beyonder is sure to be extremely powerful.
Number 7. Wraith. Zack Dell in truth is really more anti-hero than full-out hero, but he's super cool and we don't talk about him enough, so I'm willing to extend the reaches of the parameters of this list to include him. Zack Dell was Kree born but ended up being estranged from his family after they were killed by a Kree death squad, led by a mysterious figure. He himself at least was not murdered, but instead was propelled outward into space, left drifting helplessly. Eventually he ran into a subspace of the Kree who had become trapped in a wormhole and exposed to space parasites known as the Exelon. These Kree called themselves the Nameless. They stabbed Zack Dell upon finding him so that he too would be exposed to the Exelon and also become one of the Nameless. He hasn't always been bonded to the Exelon, but while bonded, received enhanced strength, energy manipulation, the ability to inspire intense fear in his opponents, and regenerative capabilities. Wraith even managed to use his powers to make the Phalanx feel fear, which is pretty impressive. Number 6. Moondragon. Moondragon was once a human girl known as Heather Douglas. After being nearly killed by Thanos, who had come across her and her family while they were driving out in the desert, she was rescued by Mentor. Seeking to make amends for his son's murderous ways, he took Heather to Titan and gave her to the Shaolin monks to be brought up. There, she would grow into the powerful telepathic and telekinetic hero known as Moondragon. Heather's father would also survive this attack by being reborn as the being known as Drax the Destroyer. Moondragon has been shown to possess telepathic strength great enough to possess millions of people at once, and can deliver a mind blast strong enough to take out the Hulk. Number 5. Black Bolt. Black Bolt is the king and ruler of the Inhumans. You might be wondering why I even included him and his wife Medusa on this list. How are Inhumans spacey, you might wonder? Well, not only have Inhumans been involved in various different galactic matters involving various planets and empires, but for a time they actually called space their home, with their city of Attilan residing in the blue area of the moon. Black Bolt himself is known for being one of the most powerful of the Inhumans. Through Terrigenesis, he unlocked the power of his voice. The speech center in his brain gives him the power to harness electrons using his voice, which basically means he can blow you apart with a shout or blow you away with a whisper. Black Bolt himself is also a modicum telepathic and uses his telepathic powers to communicate with others like Medusa and to shield himself from psychic attack. Number 4. Miss America. America Chavez is super spacey. Just listen to her origin story. She comes from a place known as the Utopian Parallel, a place out of space and time, an alternate world that was in essence created by Wiccan, who here is known as the Demiurge. She was raised by two mothers, Amalia and her wife Elena Chavez. Her mothers sacrificed themselves to save their home, sealing up black holes that threatened its existence. As a result, the Utopian Parallel ended up being sucked into the Marvel multiverse. Inspired by her mother's sacrifice, America Chavez ran away from her home, confident that it would be safe without her, and set out to save other worlds in other dimensions, traveling through space and time. America Chavez may have grown up on Utopian Parallel, but she is also a member or descendant of the Furtonas, a humanoid alien race created by two deities in love with one another. As such, she has powers from both worlds, possessing super strength, speed, invulnerability, and the abilities to create multi-dimensional portals, manipulate energy, and fly.
Coming in at number 3, we have Ultron from the Annihilation Conquest storyline. Ultron typically sticks to messing around with things in our solar system, but when you're one of the biggest baddies in the Marvel Universe, eventually you're gonna stretch your legs a bit and start causing havoc around the universe. For a time, the Avengers thought Ultron was destroyed, but that was not the case. He actually transferred his consciousness into the Bible Spire and took command over the Phalanx, and we already know how powerful those people are. After taking control of an army of aliens, he wanted to take over the universe and become even more powerful by discovering a way to take over an organic body, and he set his sights on Adam Warlock. Ultron merged with Adam Warlock and became one of the most deadly forces in the universe, and was just about to make an army of Adam Warlock clones, but was forced out of AW's body by a virus brought on by Nova. But Ultron still managed to take control of millions of Kree soldiers and create a massive body for himself before he was destroyed. Coming in at number 2, we have Galactus. I mean, come on, we can make a list of people tearing down the universe and being some of the most powerful creatures through space-time without putting Galactus on the list. Let's start off by saying Galactus is old, like he's been around for billions of years. In fact, he was at the birth of the multiverse. Without getting too deep into this, Galactus used to be Galen, who was alive in the 6th multiverse, and when it was about to collapse into itself through another rebirth cycle, he flew into the center of the collapse and met the sentience of the multiverse, who gave him the power to survive the rebirth of the multiverse, and he was reborn as Galactus. He could now devour worlds to stay strong. Now, when this bad boy is hungry, he tends to be weak, and he is actually killable. But when he is juiced up on planet fuel, he is able to slap around multiple Celestials at once without even breaking a sweat. And coming in at the number 1 spot, we have Avarax, an entity who was created at the birth of the first multiverse and is the yin to the yang of eternity. Eternity being the force that makes sure the multiverse is constantly reborn and life goes on and reality can keep moving forward. Well, Avarax is the opposite of that. He seeks out the end of existence because that is his purpose. Like, dude, just chill for a minute. I'm trying to plan a picnic over here and I have a hard enough time finding out if it's gonna rain. Now I gotta worry about if existence will be deleted permanently. Eternity saw Avarax as a threat to reality, so he locked him away inside himself. Galactus is the balance that keeps Avarax in place, but when he was killed, this made the universe fall off kilter, and Avarax saw this as an opportunity to force himself into existence and nearly ripped reality apart.
Number 10, Crystal. Honestly, Crystal does not get enough appreciation and acknowledgement here, so I figured since Inhumans are technically considered to be cosmic and all, what with them living for a time on the blue area of the moon where their home of Attilan was moved to, and often getting involved in cosmic intergalactic conflicts, I figured why not use this opportunity to talk about Crystal, her powers and abilities, and why they are so cool. While Crystal might not have access to an avatar state, she basically has all of the skills and abilities of the avatar. She can control and manipulate the 4 elements on a molecular level, controlling oxygen to make fire spontaneously appear. She can combine hydrogen and oxygen to create water or rain. She can manipulate the movement of air. She can cause earthquakes to happen, and has even on occasion managed to affect the position of tectonic plates. The limits of her powers lie in the amount of area or volume of an element that she can control at one time. Also, using her powers does tend to wear her out, so she's really best at performing in shorter battles or ones that are not as demanding on her abilities. Still, even though she is often overshadowed by her sister MEDUSA and often her brother-in-law as well, Black Bolt, her abilities are still pretty impressive. Number 9. Night Mask. Night Mask is also known as Adam Blackveil, or sometimes just Blackveil. He was the first being created by Ex Nihilo, one of the gardeners who worked alongside the Builders to create new and perfect life throughout the galaxy, and refurbishing existing beings, transforming them into something better. Considered to be a perfect being, Night Mask has powers which allow him to teleport from anywhere to anywhere else in space, even potentially moving through or to alternate worlds, by creating portals and utilizing the extra-dimensional place known as the superflow to cover vast distances. The superflow is basically like the space between universes, where concepts and dreams are said to originate. Kind of like a cosmic shortcut, if you will. He can also communicate with almost any technological device and bend that device to his will, reprogramming it easily to serve his own purpose. Night Mask also has the ability to use his energy halos to emit blasts of destructive energy, so he's not too shabby in a fight, neither. Number 8. Mar-Vell. Mar-Vell was not only powerful for the tech he wielded, but he also has had a wealth of powers that have seemed to surface and then weirdly disappear over time. He has used his Uni-Beam, worn and been strengthened and protected by Negabands, and has various other gadgets that he's able to utilize in battle. He's been shown to be fast enough to dodge bullets and has increased strength while on Earth due to Earth's gravitational pull being less intense than what he's used to. He's also had his powers enhanced over the years, now and then making him insanely powerful, like when he was protector of the universe and also had cosmic awareness. Is that how gravity works? If the pull is less, you're stronger, right? Because you're used to on your world, like having to fight gravity. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Science.
Coming in at number 7, we have Null, the god of the symbiotes, a being that lived before the universe was created and existed in endless darkness. And from what I can gather about this character, it seemed that he was okay with just chilling in a void until he was moved from his position at the recreation of the universe. This really pissed him off, and he decided that he would go to war with some of the Celestials, and he actually cut off one of their heads. After that, the Celestials were able to banish him back into the void, but not before he grabbed that head. He then used that head to make a living forge and harness the power of evil and darkness to make his symbiote armor and the first symbiote suit. This suit has the power to morph into anything from weaponry to a dragon, and it doesn't have the same weaknesses as regular symbiotes, and with it, Null is able to go toe to toe with some of the most powerful beings in the universe, and the suit was even powerful enough to take over Galactus. Coming in at number 6, we have the Beyonder, an all-powerful celestial force that can bend matter, create worlds, and give people immense power just for the fun of it. He flies around the universe kinda messing with people because he can, and he is so powerful it's thought that the Beyonder is actually a representation of Jack Kirby in the Marvel universe. He has a strange obsession with people living on Earth because he sees them as incomplete beings who are trying to find a whole consciousness, where he sees himself as the opposite, already maxed out and unable to gain any higher level of consciousness. The event that the Beyonder is most famous for is when he created Battle World. He warped reality to create a whole world so he could handpick villains and heroes to duke it out for his amusement. But this doesn't mean that it's impossible for him to slip up. There was one occasion where Dr. Doom was able to steal away his powers, and as you can imagine, he quickly started shifting reality into his Victor Von Doom liking. Coming at number 5, we have Sidorak, one of the oldest gods from Earth. He used to be worshipped like all of the other great gods on our planet, but for some reason he was banished to the Crimson Realm. He now sits there angry and dishes out powers of destruction to who he sees fit. The most famous person he has given powers to is the Juggernaut, imbuing him with a destructive force to tear down the world. His ability to summon armies of people to worship him, and within his Crimson Realm he is powerful beyond belief, but he cannot leave his realm, so unless you go there to pick a fight with him, you don't really need to worry about him, unless he sends the Juggernaut after you. Coming at number 4, we have the Phoenix Force, one of the better known entities in the Marvel Universe, as it has been able to work its way into movies and shows. It's one of the most powerful forces across the entire Marvel Universe. Now, this force can be used for good, and has been on some occasions. When the Phoenix Force was split between 5 different members of the X-Men in the Avengers vs. X-Men comic run, the holders of the force were able to use the power to rebuild Earth and create a form of world peace. But there have been times when the force is DANVERS, moving through the galaxy as a rogue and will destroy planet after planet while it looks for a host, so it's safe to say that this thing can't be trusted. There's also the fact that most of the characters who merge with the Phoenix Force go through an entire persona shift and have the tendency to destroy things.
Number 3. Gladiator. Gladiator is known for being a prominent member of the Shi'ar Imperial Guard. He himself is a citizen of the Shi'ar Empire who has been shown to be powerful enough to defeat Thanos in a fight. The thing about Gladiator, aka Clark, is that his confidence increases his power levels. If he's confident enough, his strength and speed can become almost limitless in terms of power levels, also making him near invulnerable to taking damage as well, strengthening his durability. He has been shown to be powerful enough to take down the Thing, and has even managed to explode and destroy planets with the force of his blows. Now that is some super strength. Number 2. Beta Ray Bill. Beta Ray Bill never gets enough love and respect, so it is time to give him some. Beta Ray Bill is a Corbinite who was chosen to be his people's champion. As such, he was transformed into a cybernetic being which enhanced his physiology. Originally, Bill started out as a nemesis to Thor, who Bill believed was a threat to the Corbinites that Bill himself was responsible for protecting. The two fought in a battle for who would get to keep Thor's hammer, following Bill managing to claim the hammer and defeat Thor in combat. Bill also actually won that trial, but in the end, Odin decided Thor could actually have his hammer back and instead forged a new hammer called Stormbreaker for Bill. Following this, Bill would work with the Asgardians and grow close to them, befriend Lady Sif, Thor, and others. His strength is said to match Thor's, and he is known for being superhumanly fast and durable. He's also virtually immortal when it comes to how long he could survive for, based on the fact that he's kind of a cyborg. Number 1. Adam Warlock. Adam Warlock is a perfect being who was created by a group of researchers known as the Enclave. After he was born, he was also taken in and given motivation by the Soul Stone by the High Evolutionary. Technically, Warlock's potential is infinite, as following each rebirth cycle he has a tendency to become more and more powerful and can even develop new powers during as needed. Adam Warlock has intense cosmic awareness, has been telepathic, is capable of energy and matter manipulation, and is considered to be super strong, durable, fast, and even immortal due to the sheer, indomitable strength of his soul.